One of the issues that comes up in defending a case sometimes is spoliation. Could you walk us through what impact that might have on defending a matter?
Sure, John, I'd be glad to.
Thank you.
Spoliation is one of those very basic concepts, and essentially what it is, if you have a piece of evidence, whether it be a product, some data in a computer, something like that, physical evidence or electronic evidence, paper evidence, you want to make sure it's available to all parties. And also you want to make sure that you or your client doesn't alter it in any way, for the simple reason that if a piece of evidence is lost or altered or somehow damaged by a party, and it opens that party up to a motion by plaintiff's counsel, generally speaking, to have the jury instructed that your client lost or altered the evidence, and that evidence was key in determining the issues that are before the jury, and the judge can, award a tremendous range of sanctions leading up to, instructing the jury that they can draw an inference from the actual spoliation itself that the defendant was negligent, and that negligence caused or contributed to the accident. So it's a very, very key issue, and it's something you have to deal with early on.
So
comes in. Go ahead.
How is it that you deal with it from a client side to make sure that you alerted them to that issue? There may be things that need to be preserved, electronic or otherwise.
What you do is, if it isn't in suit yet, so when the claim comes in, what you have to do is you have to send that client a litigation hold letter telling them to preserve all evidence, stop, the videotapes oftentimes get recorded over. If you can, catch it early, preserve the videotape. They're often in liquor liability cases or in general liability cases. So you want to tell them, hey, listen, if there's a video, preserve it, pull it out of the machine, do something, just don't let it get taped over again. That happens a lot. You want to tell them not to delete any electronic evidence, preserve what's on the phones, and so on and so forth. In other words, there's a standard letter you can write. And then also, depending on the severity of the case, you may want to call them, send somebody out there, because it really is, oftentimes if you have a case that's weak liability, the plaintiffs can turn it into much stronger liability if they can allege that you have spoliated a key piece of evidence.
From a data processing standpoint, how does retention policies play into it?
Well, you may have a retention policy that says, every 3 years we're going to destroy these documents, or we're going to purge this information from our system. Well, if you have an incident and somehow it's recorded or there's evidence of it, in your electronic database, even if the retention policy says this is to be destroyed, in 2 weeks, you don't do it. You have to save it. You can't rely on, oh, that's what we always do. We didn't mean to do it, but we did it anyway. You have to watch that.
I know we went over sort of categories of what might be the subject of spoliation. Can you give me like 1 or 2 specific examples of what we look out for?
The big thing is, we run into it most with videotapes for general liability or liquor liability. But if you have a product liability case, let's assume your product is one of those cherry picker or man lifts, which people get hurt using. Well, one of our clients who's, very good about this thing and understands, the danger to them and the basic fairness to all the parties. If there's an accident happens on using some of their equipment, that equipment is immediately shut down, left at the scene. They call us sometimes within 2 or 3 hours of the accident. And we go out, make sure it's quarantined. We usually get experts there, preferably within 24 hours. Just look at it. We don't touch it. We figure out what's going on. Then we notify any interested party that this product is alleged to have been involved in this accident. It's available for you to inspect. And here's, where and when you can do it. We don't operate the product or the machinery in any way, just so nobody can say, listen, you flipped that switch and that changed everything. And if I had been here, I could have documented that type of thing. So,
Makes sense.
So what we do is, if we have a products case, we immediately send a letter to our own client saying, you have to avoid spoliation. This is how you do it. We also send a letter to the injured party saying, look, here's the product you were using. It's located here. You can look at it with your experts and your lawyers. Let us know when you want to do it. So we make sure that they have the opportunity. It's just really, it's basic fairness to everybody, but it also is fraught with danger for the defendants.
Makes sense.